The 2026 Li Auto L6 just showed up in government filings, and it quietly outranges the Tesla Model Y long-range on paper. Here's the thing about Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology filings. They're dry, bureaucratic, and almost always the most reliable early look you'll get at a new car before any official launch event. No PR spin, no carefully lit reveal video. Just the specs the manufacturer had to submit to the government to get road approval. So when the 2026 Li Auto L6 showed up in the latest batch of MIIT filings, I went straight to the numbers. And a few things jumped out immediately. First, the pure electric range figure. I'd argue this is the headline upgrade. The new L6 is reporting a meaningfully extended CLTC electric range compared to the outgoing model. We're talking figures that push it comfortably past what the Tesla Model Y long-range posts on the same Chinese test cycle. Now, CLTC is famously generous, and real-world range will be lower. I want to be upfront about that. But even with a 15 to 20% real-world haircut, this is a genuinely competitive number for a family-sized extended-range SUV. Second, the ADAS hardware configuration has been upgraded. The filing points to additional sensing units compared to the current generation. I think this signals Li Auto is finally getting serious about closing the perception gap with XPeng, which has been eating their lunch on highway autonomy bragging rights for the past 2 years. Let me give you some context on why the ADAS upgrade matters more than the range bump, at least to me personally. The current Li Auto L6 is a genuinely excellent family hauler. Spacious, efficient, brilliant fridge-in-the-middle energy. But if you ask owners what frustrates them, the smart driving system comes up constantly. Li Auto's AD Max hardware in the current generation works well on highways, but in urban environments it's been trailing XPeng's XNGP system by a noticeable margin. I said back in early 2024 that Li Auto would close that gap by mid-year. I was wrong. It took longer than I expected, and XPeng kept moving the goalposts. So the upgraded sensor suite in this filing is significant. More cameras, what appears to be enhanced LiDAR placement. The exact configuration isn't fully confirmed yet, and I want to hedge on that, but the direction is clear. Li Auto is throwing more hardware at the problem, which suggests their software team now has enough confidence to actually use it. For a Western comparison, think of this like BMW rolling out its driving assistant professional to more trim levels. It doesn't make the car a robotaxi, but it meaningfully changes the daily driving experience on commutes. That's the level of upgrade we're talking about. Not revolutionary, but genuinely useful for a family doing school runs and weekend highway trips. Now let's zoom out, because the spec improvements only matter in the context of who the L6 is actually competing against. The 200,000 renminbi band, roughly $27,000, is the most brutally competitive segment in the entire Chinese new energy vehicle market right now. You've got the NIO ES6 sitting right there with its battery swap party trick. You've got the XPeng G6 with its 800-volt fast charging and the best urban ADAS in the segment. And you've got BYD's Tang EV lurking at the value end. Oh, and Tesla's Model Y, which refuses to die despite everyone predicting its irrelevance every 6 months. I think the upgraded L6 hurts NIO the most. Here's my reasoning. NIO's entire pitch is the premium experience, battery swap, the NIO house lounges, the community feeling. But their ADAS still isn't class-leading, and their range anxiety argument evaporates when the competition closes the range gap. If the 2026 L6 genuinely delivers on both fronts, the NIO ES6 has to justify a price premium on vibes alone. That's a harder sell. XPeng is less threatened in the short term because their software lead is still real. But hardware parity is the first step towards software parity, and Li Auto has the sales volume to iterate fast. As for Tesla, I think the Model Y remains the default choice for buyers who want simplicity and resale certainty. The L6 is for buyers who want a Chinese market-optimized experience, bigger interior, extended range flexibility, and increasingly competitive smart driving. Those are different customers, and I'd stop pretending they're in a zero-sum fight. So here's where I land on this. If you're in China right now, actively shopping in the 200,000 renminbi family SUV space, and you were already considering the current L6, yes, I think you should wait. The MIIT filing suggests we're close to an official launch, probably within a quarter or two. The range improvement alone is worth holding out for, And if the ADAS upgrade delivers even half of what the hardware suggests, this becomes a meaningfully better daily driver. If you're watching from Europe or North America wondering whether this signals anything for the global market, I'd say watch Li Auto's international expansion timeline carefully. They haven't made aggressive moves outside China yet, but the technology gap between cars like the L6 and what's available in Western markets is narrowing fast. The 2026 upgrade cycle is another data point in that direction. My honest take, Li Auto has quietly built one of the most compelling value propositions in the extended range EV space, and this refresh tightens the screws further. The current L6 was already a car I'd recommend to anyone who asked. The 2026 version, if it delivers on the filing specs, moves from recommend to seriously consider first before anything else in this segment. That's a meaningful shift. And in a market moving this fast, meaningful shifts matter. If you're cross-shopping the L6 against the NIO ES6 or XPeng G6, drop your reasoning in the comments. I want to know which one you'd actually put your money on and why. And if you want to see a proper head-to-head test when the 2026 L6 officially launches, subscribe so you don't miss it.